Now commencing the trial of the conspirators for the armed rebellion against the United States government. Mary Surratt, you are charged with harboring, concealing, and aiding John Wilkes Booth, David Herold, George Azterodt, Lewis Powell, Michael O'Loughlin, Samuel Arnold, Samuel Mudd, and Edmund Spangler.
Before we begin, I would like to propose an adjournment of the trial. A military trial of civilians is an atrocity. It stands against the rights we just fought for. From my understanding, you had over 4 weeks to prepare your case, and assisted by the entire War Department. My client is entitled to equal consideration. This trial spits the name of our Constitution. Our founding fathers drafted the Constitution precisely for times like these.
Put your right hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Weichmann, is it true that these men frequented Miss Surratt's boarding house?
Yes.
Do you recognize any of these men?
Those 3 over there?
Let the record show that the witnesses identified Herold, Powell, and Azterodt. Isn't it also true that John Wilkes Booth frequented the house?
Yes, but all of the Surratts adored him.
Isn't it also true that they would hold frequent meetings?
Yes, often 2 to 3 hours long. Always in secret, behind closed doors.
Thank you, Mr. Weichmann.
So how long did you say these secret meetings lasted?
2 to 3 hours.
So if you were timing these meetings, they must not have been secret to you.
I was aware of them, but I didn't know what they were about,
Of course you weren't. Did you ever recall visiting Richmond?
I don't recall.
Really? Here's a train ticket to Richmond. It has your initials on it.
Ah, yes, I was continuing my studies to become a priest.
There is no academy of the kind. Perhaps you went for another reason. A distinguished gentleman like yourself may know certain information. Information to be carried across the Union lines to the capital of the Confederacy.
Objection. The witness is not on trial here.
Well, he should be.
On the night of April 17th, what were your duties?
I was assigned to find John Surratt. We searched the house.
Could you please read this aloud?
Of course. Sic semper tyrannis.
Could you please translate?
Thus always for tyrants. John Wilkes Booth shouted it after assassinating our president. We found her in her bedroom like a shrine.
Objection. Sic semper tyrannis is the motto of Virginia, and hardly constitutes a shrine to Booth.
As I was preparing to take Miss Surratt to the headquarters, there was a knock at the door.
And who, Major Smith, was at the door?
Lewis Powell.
Lewis Powell, the same man who boarded the Surratt house prior to daggering the Secretary of State.
Major Smith, are you aware that Lewis Powell boarded the Surratt home under an alias, claiming to be a Baptist minister?
That is what she claims.
I've come to learn that my client's eyesight is defective. Major Smith, it was dark. He was a minister dressed as a laborer. Is it possible that Mary Surratt simply didn't see him?
I suppose it's possible.
The prosecution fails to present proof of guilt beyond reasonable doubt.
Mr. Lloyd, are you acquainted with Miss Surratt?
Yes, I run a tavern 10 miles from the city on her property.
On the night of the assassination, did Mary Surratt pay you a visit?
Yes, in the company of Louis Weichmann.
And did she also give you a package?
Yes.
And what was inside this package?
Field glasses.
Field glasses? Field glasses like these? With the initials JWB on them. And what other instructions did she give you?
She told me, Lloyd, get those shooting eyes ready. There'll be parties here tonight. Who will call for them?
Shooting eyes? And to what was she referring?
Abraham Lincoln.
And where did she say this package came from?
She said it came from John Wilkes Booth.
Thank you. Your witness.
You testified that Lewis Powell accompanied him. That would also mean that he heard Mary's instructions.
No, she told me in private.
So you're saying that no one heard this conversation?
That's how it happened, pea shooter.
Of course it is. When did you hear about Lincoln's assassination?
The next morning, the captain told me he was searching for the conspirators.
I'm sure you were upset.
I got right. Smart in liquor.
The captain asked you anything about the assassins?
Yes, I reported the two that I saw.
No, you didn't. In this witness report, you said nothing for 2 days.
I was scared that the assassins would come for me. It's because of the Surratts that I was put in a difficult position.
Don't you mean John Surratt? Wasn't it him who brought the shooting irons and told you where to hide it?
Yes, but I didn't want to.
So, he brought you the irons, he told you where to hide it, and he forced you to hide it against your will.
Yes.
If John Surratt is capable of putting Mr. Lloyd at risk, who's to say that he couldn't do it the same to his mother?
Thank you. You're a witness.
You didn't wait until I say go.
Yes.